Cycling, it can be great in the gym, not that I'd know anything about that. Great on the open road on your mountain bike on the moors, or winding through the country lanes on your racer. Do they still call them racers?
Well, they did when I was a lad.
Like penny farthings when you were a lad.
Oh, that's cruel, very cruel.
Take cycles and HGVs, mix them together in the inner city, and the results can be disastrous. In fact, the statistics are showing the results can be fatal, and they're on the increase.
Yeah, I think it's a really important thing. I think cyclists and trucks in an urban environment have been proven. They're not a good combination, but they've got to get on. So when we heard about this course, we thought, yeah, let's have a look at it.
That's right, a new scheme by Transport for London, which aims to educate truck drivers and cyclists, get them more aware of each other and have a bit more respect for each other.
The Safe Urban Driving course is the first accredited course of its type in the UK, and an extra bonus for drivers is that it counts against those all-important Driver CPC hours that need to be completed by September 2014. Here's Andy McCarroll, the Project Officer of the Freight and Fleet team for Transport for London.
The aims of Safe Urban Driving are to make drivers aware of the vulnerable road users in London, especially around cyclists. The other aim of it is behaviour change, and again behaviour change for the drivers. And one of the things that we're doing with the Safe Urban Driving is we're getting the drivers out of the cabs and onto push bikes to feel the vulnerability that the cyclists feel on a daily basis. Safe Urban Driving has been run out since 2010, and to date we've trained just over 6,000 drivers.
But your company's potentially breaking the law.
So the format of the Safe Urban Driving course, say for instance we've got a classroom of 20, we'll break that down into 2 groups of 10, and the first group of 10 will stay in here with me. We'll go through a PowerPoint presentation covering the theory side of Safer Urban Driving, whilst the other 10 will go on the practical side with the 2 cycle trainers, and they'll cover the practical element of the course, and then we change over. The reaction of drivers is a bit of a mixed bag, to be perfectly honest. A lot of the drivers that when they start the course, they want to learn about new different techniques in driving and things like that. But others are a little bit reluctant, especially if they've been driving for a long period of time within the industry.
With the drivers getting to grips with the 2 wheels, Tim caught up with the man putting them through their paces, cycling instructor Paul Cox.
From a cyclist point of view, how important do you think this course is really for Central London?
Well, obviously, it's really important. Sadly, the figures speak for themselves, don't they? And the figures haven't been so good recently. How much impact, bad choice of word, I'm afraid, how much impact they have on the situation, we'll see. I mean, I'm out riding a lot. Personally, I find lorry drivers, bus drivers, taxi drivers are the most professional drivers on the road. Personally, I have more problem with car drivers. They're less professional.
What do you think comes one of the main learning points that you want to get across as a cyclist to a truck driver here now?
Well, there's many, aren't they? I mean, the left turn is notorious. And you only have to cycle 5 minutes to that junction up there to see some infrastructure that's very poor in terms of it puts cyclists in that blind spot on the left where they perceive they are safe because they're in their own lane, as it were, but in fact they're in so much danger of not being spotted because they're on the blind side, and then when they cross the junction they are in danger of being cut across by left-turning vehicles. And it is getting across to drivers that a cyclist who is in a assertive position and very visible is doing it for good reason, and that they should appreciate it rather than consider they're being obstructive. That's what I think. And if they come across a cyclist who is riding less assertively and less visibly, that cyclist is probably a weaker, more nervous cyclist who actually needs them to be a little bit more careful around that cyclist. So it's an interesting conundrums go on about what they can perceive. It's what they can spot in cyclist habits.
For some of these drivers, this was the first time on a bike for 20 years. We wondered how the course was received from their point of view.
It's an eye-opener. It gets us to see what cyclists are contending with out on the road and things like that. We see things from the other side of the coin, basically. Rather than us looking at them that they're parasites on bikes, we look at them that they've got to get to A to B the same as we have. And they've got to use the road the same as we have.
I think it's a good course, really. I think it's a good thing that we come on this course. I think it's a good thing for truck drivers, so we get to totally understand what it's like to be on a bike and what the cyclists do and what they go through when they're on the bikes. Now I'm sitting on the bikes. I've been on a bike for a very long time, so like being on the bike now and looking over my shoulder and all them things, realise that these are signs. As a lorry driver, I'm the lorry driver, I'll be able to notice these things from the cyclists. So it's making me more aware of cyclist behaviour on the roads.